Hey everyone, I'm Armor Gaming, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Monster Analysis. Up for analysis today is Lord Mindson. One eye is all this monster needs. Thanks to his psychic powers, Privateer Morgan has never been steered wrong. Now he predicts the moves of Captain Copperbeard. However, Lord Mindson has his own mission, to destroy Lamuna, the only one who can match his powers. Man, there's a lot of competition going on in Monster Legends. Anyhow, here we have Lord Mindson, the newest and latest nature legendary monster. I had really high hopes for this monster. Every time a nature monster gets released, I am looking forward to them being the next top tier nature monster. And so we're gonna see if this monster lives up to that expectation or not. And unfortunately, the wiki doesn't show what books he's in or what relics he has, and I have no information as to the relics, but as for books, he's in the Mechanical book, the Good Legions book, and the Superheroes book. And with that said, let's get right into analyzing his stats. His power is 3267, which is a really low power for a nature monster. It actually puts him tied for 26th place with Golan. And I should also mention there's only 37 nature legendary monsters, and he's tied for 26th place, so he doesn't have a really high power. Not that it matters too much because this monster is not an attacker by any means. And then as for his life, 27,747, also not that high. It actually puts him in 32nd place, so his life is only higher than 5 other nature legendary monsters. So his power isn't good, his life isn't that good, but then we move on to his speed. His speed is 3476, which is an extremely good speed, especially in the nature category. Right now, this speed puts him tied for 2nd place with monsters like Nadiel the Flutter, Lamuna, Yultra, and Serra. That's right, he has the 2nd highest speed stat in the nature category. The only monster that's faster than all of those monsters I just mentioned is the Living Forest, who really isn't a deny monster by any means. So Lord Mindson is currently the fastest denier, or tied with being one of the fastest deniers in the nature category. And then as for his trait, he has Hardened. All status effects have a 20% less accuracy against it. You guys have heard me say multiple times, this is really the best trait to have for your average monster. Having a singular immunity like immunity to stun, to possession, to freeze, it doesn't help you out, because now just about every single monster in every element has a deny skill that isn't typical. Like earth monsters don't just have stun, now they have possession. They might even have freeze. Actually, I don't know about freeze. But aside from that, there's also like total blind. There's also all these other deny effects that it is really useful to have a 20% chance immunity against anything. Also, not to mention the fact that Team Warriors now consists of books. So even if this is a nature monster, that doesn't mean he's going to fight another nature monster. He might be facing a fire monster, a dark monster, a light monster that's in the same book as him. So having the hardened trait really is the best thing for any monster. And with that said, we can finally talk about his skills, starting things off with Revert and Update. Removes all negative status effects from all of your allies, heals all allies by 60%, applies double damage to all of your allies. So this is an incredibly nice supportive skill. All of your allies, their negative effects are completely wiped out, all of your allies heal by 60%, and then all of your allies get double damage. I think this skill could have been a little better if your allies would have also gotten stamina. That way they could sort of be like restored to the beginning of the game, having no negative effects, having a lot of their life back, stamina back, and then a nice little double damage buff. But hey, it's still a pretty good skill. It's not anything amazing in terms of an ultimate skill. Normally when I think of an ultimate skill, I feel like it's a skill that can make or break the game. You know, if it's like AoE possession, that's a huge thing. If it's trade disable and then possession, that's a super huge thing. Or stamina drain, or cooldowns activated. But something that is really more of a team supportive ultimate, it's not really, it could be groundbreaking, but it's not too groundbreaking. So for the ultimate, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I do understand its uses. So with that said, let's move on to skills group 1. So the only skill I really want to talk about in skills group 1 is Pet Scanner. Deals moderate nature damage to one enemy, 50% chance of applying possession to one enemy, 30 nature based damage, 20 stamina cost, no cooldown, and a 50% chance to possess. The only reason I want to mention this skill is because I do believe there's still an issue with 50% skills and always landing. So the fact that you have a 0 cooldown skill that can always land, a possession skill that can always land, it might be useful to run this skill. So what I would recommend is for you to actually test it. When you get this monster, if you get this monster, test out Pet Scanner. If you find that it actually does land every single time, then definitely run it. If you find that it actually misses more often than it lands, then don't run it. And then just because we're on the topic of skills group 1, I'm actually going to take the time and just mention Backup Generator. Applies energy regeneration to itself. Self skill that costs no stamina, no cooldown, and you just gain stamina regeneration. And I don't know, I just think it's kind of cool that just about, it seems like every single monster has a 0 stamina skill that can like recharge stamina or do some sort of attack. It's just very interesting. With that said, moving on to skill group 2, we have Buzz Hand. Deals moderate nature damage to an enemy, 40 damage, 25 stamina cost, no cooldown. Very vanilla skill, not even worth running, especially on this monster that can't do any damage or can do very little damage, so just completely disregard Buzz Hand. Energy Channeling is next. Applies energy regeneration to all allies, requires cooldown. So here we have a team skill that costs no stamina but has a 2-turn cooldown. And instead of just yourself getting stamina regen, your whole team gets stamina regen. This is obviously better than Skills Group 1. The only advantage Skills Group 1 has is that it has no cooldown, so even if you get hit with cooldowns activated, you can at least do something. But nonetheless, this is way better because it's for your whole team. So for example, if your whole team got stamina drained, and then Lord Mindson goes next, he can give regen to everyone, which means your teammates will be able to attack. And then we have Mental Scanner, deals moderate nature damage to an enemy, applies possession to an enemy, requires cooldown, 40 damage, 26 stamina cost, 2-turn cooldown, and it's a possession skill. So if the one from Skills Group 1, Pet Scanner, doesn't work all the time, then Mental Scanner will work 95% of the time or 98% of the time. So first of all, you should know that there's two types of accuracy in the game. There's the accuracy of the attack landing, and then once it lands, which by the way, that's a 95% accuracy, and then once that attack lands, then there's a 98% chance to actually possess, which can be mitigated by stuff like Harden, Bulwark, Tough, all of those traits that reduce the accuracy of a trait landing, or a negative effect landing, my bad. So with that said, Mental Scanner, definitely run. Even if Pet Scanner does land more often than it misses, I think you should still run Mental Scanner, just because I think you're going to see that this monster doesn't have the best skills in Skills Group 3 and 2. So I think Mental Scanner might be a good skill. We'll come back to it. I completely forgot what was in Skills Group 3. But anyhow, with that said, moving on to Skills Group 3, yeah, Spike Hand, another very vanilla skill, deals heavy nature damage to an enemy, 45 damage, 25 stamina cost, no cooldown. That's great enough, but 45 damage on a really weak nature monster? I don't think so. Completely disregard Spike Hand. But then we have Energy Fortress, gives 30% of stamina to our allies, applies immunity to possession to our allies, requires cooldown. Another really cool skill actually. So your whole team gets an immediate 30% stamina and immunity to possession, and then once again this has no stamina cost. So similar to Energy Channeling, no stamina cost, except I think this is a little better just because it's immediate stamina. Now with the other one you get regen, which over the long course of the game will be more beneficial because that's a total of 60% of your stamina back, but 30% immediately and then immunity to possession, this could definitely help you out. So Lord Mindson is starting to be really awesome. So for example, if your whole team, if the enemy monster went first and did AoE possession, and Lord Mindson didn't get possessed thanks to his hardened trait, but your teammates did, well then you can just do Energy Fortress to get rid of that possession, and then they're going to be immune to possession for the next 3 turns. Or if Lord Mindson goes first, well then obviously you can just set up that immunity to possession right off the bat. So that's pretty awesome. And so Energy Fortress is definitely a skill you want to run. Next up we have Hive Scanner, deals moderate nature damage to all enemies, applies possession to all enemies, requires cooldown. Very nice, we have a monster, nature monster with AoE possession. And actually to add to that, we have a fast monster, a 3476 base speed nature monster with AoE possession. And now I'm unsure how to feel. So for the longest time I've really wanted Silotus. Silotus has AoE possession, he's a nature monster, he has that 3454 base speed. But now we have Lord Mindson who can do AoE possession also. Now, I think a fair comparison can be made between those two monsters because they focus on possession as their main denial form. But then, if we look at Silotus, he has stamina drain skills. He has like 100% stamina drain. He can recover his own stamina. But then I guess Lord Mindson also has some stamina drain for his own allies, and he can do immunity to possession. So I think a comparison between those two monsters can be very interesting. With that said, going back to this skill, 30 damage, 30 nature-based damage, that doesn't matter, 38 stamina cost, 13 cooldown. That nice possession is what you're after. So we have ourselves, honestly, a pretty good nature monster. Taking everything into consideration, he is actually pretty good. I would definitely run Hive Scanner, Energy Fortress, Energy Channeling, and then I guess you're going to have to decide if you want Mental Scanner or Pet Scanner. So again, I would recommend test out Pet Scanner. If you find that it lands more often than it misses, run Pet Scanner because it's spammable, it has no cooldown. But then if you find that it's just a regular 50% chance to miss and land, then definitely run Mental Scanner because this skill has a higher likelihood of landing. So pretty straightforward monster. For runes, you want to go 3 speed runes considering he's very fast. 3 speed runes and you just want to AoE possess right off the bat. And then additionally, what you can do with just about any single deny monster, if you already have other deny monsters in the category, so for him in the superheroes and good legions and mechanical, if you want him to be like a secondary denier / supporter, then just give him 3 team speed. You can do that with just about any deny monster. You don't need to always go 3 speed. If you already, for example, let me give this example. If you have Kihaku with 3 speed, you don't really need another water monster with 3 speed. Instead, you can do team speed. That way when a Team Wars pops up where you need a water monster with team speed runes, you have one already who can also deny. So that's just some advice for all of you out there listening. So with that being said, that's going to conclude this analysis on Lord Mindson. I gotta say, I really love this monster. I love the design. I love that he has AoE possession. I love all the stamina regen skills, immediate stamina, immunity to possession. He's a pretty good monster. His power's not great. He's not the most tanky monster, 27k life, but he's fast, possession, hardened. I like it overall. He's in plenty of bugs, so you're going to get lots of versatility from this monster. But now I want to hear from all of you guys. What do you guys think about this monster? Do you like him? Do you dislike him? How do you think he works in the books he's in? Do you think he's competitive in those books, or do you think he doesn't stand a chance? Please let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Remember Gaming. Really hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.